Hello, humans of the world. You are now tuned into Relayshons Podcast, where me and a new co-host just like you discuss our relations with ourselves, with each other, and our experiences. Are we ready to break the cycles? You know, the ones that live within our learned behaviors. Have you noticed the decisions you make subconsciously? The ones that lead you right back to where you started? Let's take on the healing journey together. Get on this PJ of unconventional conversations and let's travel all the way through our lineage. Then let's break the cycles link by link. Ready? Let's do this. Hello. Welcome to Relations. Hello, humans of the world. We are here again for another amazing episode. I want to thank you for following me, for supporting me, and just for being present in this experience with me. I really, really, really appreciate it. So let's get right into it. Of course, we're here with another amazing guest, my co-host. They're the best part of this whole entire process. And I mean, look at her. Look at this beauty. Her name is Brittany. Say hi, Brittany.
Hi.
Brittany is from the D, okay?
Right.
The D out here. And of course, we're coming through you via audio and via video. So if you check us out on YouTube, you can get to see her beautiful face. And so let's get right into it. How did we meet? So
we followed each other on Instagram, and you told me to check out your podcast, and we've just been communicating and vibing ever since then.
It's so crazy, y'all, because I feel like I know her. Like we talk, I think I talk to you probably more than I talk to like my friends, like who are like 2 miles away from me, and I don't even talk to them, and I talk to you all the time. Right. So I feel like we're sisters, we're soul sisters, we're tribe sisters.
We are.
We have the same interests, and so that's why we connected. So I can't wait to have this conversation. Thank you for being here.
And thank you for having me.
So the premise of today's episode is about open access to someone. Now, we want what we want when we want it, especially if we have had it before. We feel like getting it again is a breeze, almost as if it's owed to us, like open access whenever we want it. Have you ever experienced someone who feels like they should have open access to you? Let's talk about it. So I think we should start off with what open access means, because I think I made this up. I don't know how. I don't know. We were having a conversation, and I was like, "Yeah, open access," and it clicked to me like open access, but maybe to make it clear for other people. What do you think about when you think about someone that has open access to you?
I feel like they feel like they're entitled to your energy. Like you constantly have to communicate with them. You constantly have to give them, attention because they're so connected to the vibe that we used to have and the relationship that we used to have. And it's not like that anymore. Right. You kind of just want to just be friends with the person, but they don't want that. They feel like it's supposed to be the same way that it was before. And it's not like that. So, they tend to overstep their boundaries.
Overstepping boundaries. Yeah, I would say the same thing. People that overstep their boundaries. And I think also, I'm not going to say it's a man trait. I'm going to say it's some people have a trait where they don't like closing the door. Like they like to keep the door slightly open with somebody because they want to be able to come in and come out whenever they want. Hence the open access thing. And I think that it's unfair because it's almost a way to like keep you captive for their benefit.
Right.
And I think it's selfish. It's a selfish act. So, how have you dealt with someone or people in your life who felt like they had open access to you?
Well, currently I don't deal with it. Like if you don't respect my boundaries, then, I just keep my distance and I'll deal with you accordingly. But before I was more so open to people having access to me because I always felt like, I was a healer. And, if I loved people, then, I could heal whatever is going on with them. And I just realized that, my cup was empty. and I was pouring too much into others, and I wasn't getting the same in return, and they didn't know how to receive it. So now it's just like, if I'm vocal about my boundaries and you don't respect it, then, 9 times out of 10, I won't continue a friendship with you. I won't continue a relationship with you, because I have to put myself first.
Yeah, I got you. I definitely relate, because I've suffered from trying to help people syndrome. And I kept myself so open, probably like what you say, like keep myself open, meaning I knew that people were damaged, or I knew that people weren't the best for me, but I knew that they needed something or someone, so I wanted to do that for them. So I kept it open, or it was out of confusion. So like, I'm like, well, do I cut this person off? Like, I don't know what to do. So I kind of kept it open to like be undefinable until I could define it. And that's kind of scary too, right? Because when you're in this in-between stage, people are just like, well, what do we do? Or they test it, right? How people like to test, right? Like, it's like, okay, well, we are not defining it, so let me try this whenever it's convenient to me, or that, and see what I could get away with.
Right.
And that's always a problem. So what does the exchange in sex what do you think, like, so for instance, I would say like this happens a lot with romantic relationships, right? And I think that there is an exchange of a chemical exchange or energy exchange that happens when you're intimate with somebody, or even procreating, right? Like, you know how that saying where people say like, oh, if you have a baby mama or baby daddy, like, and you date a man that has a baby mother or a baby daddy or whatever the case is, they're always going to want to touch that. Like, that might always be open access. Like, what do you think about
that? I kind of think that's true to a certain extent. I feel like when you're having sex with someone that's on the same frequency and same vibration as you, it could be healthy. You guys can heal each other. You get energy from it. I feel like it's a ritual and you'll be able to manifest. But if you're having sex with someone, that's toxic and don't eat well and, engage in a lot of low vibrational activities, then you'll take on that energy as well. And you'll end up feeling like drained, and you'll just be a product of them. Like, you're connected as one, it's like a soul tie.
So, and I always kind of felt that, but like people, well, not people, our society kind of sells sex as a very like, oh, it's nonchalant, right? Like, this is just something you just do from time to time with whoever, and it's not that big of a deal. But nobody talks about that. Nobody talks about like, when you're intimate with somebody, especially as a woman, you're receiving someone inside of your body. Like, that is really intimate. Like, why would you not expect it to be an energetic exchange?
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Like,
it's definitely an energetic exchange. Like, I've experienced it before, and I definitely noticed the difference. And I knew that it wasn't me and it wasn't my energy that I was taking on. Like, I ended up like suffering from anxiety and, just trying to heal myself and just reinvent myself. And it was a difficult and challenging situation. Like, it was really different, and I just know that the energy was not mine. So
I want to start paying more attention to that. I'm gonna be honest. I kind of led a lot of my relationships with sex. I never really had a one-night stand or anything like that. Usually, if I was intimate with somebody, it was somebody I was in a relationship with. But I think that I never really paid attention to what I was consuming from that other person. Like, I always thought like, oh yeah, this is something we're exchanging, and then once we're done, you take what you came in with, and I'll take what I came in with, and we just do our own home.
Same way I was, right?
And I just didn't, and so it wasn't until
now I know.
Go ahead.
Yeah, now I know that it's a big difference, because I feel the difference, and I'm more consciously aware now.
Right. Did something happen to like trigger you? Because I know for me, in my most recent one, it was like a specific moment or a day or something like that I literally felt it. Like, I was fine that day, and then right after, I just felt this like drain, and I was like, wait a second, like something is up. Like, this is not making me, it's making me feel good in the moment, but afterwards I'm not feeling good. Why?
I remember something did happen to me. Like, I felt it, like this burning sensation, like in my stomach. And like, I just started panicking a little bit, and I was just like, something is not right. I was just feeling fine. Like, I was definitely fine before I got back involved with this person, because it was my past relationship, which ended not too long ago, long enough, but not too long ago. And we would go on frequent breaks and be off and on. And he was involved with someone else. And, it was a back and forth thing. And we ended up having sex. And he told me that, he wasn't involved with that woman anymore. So, I kind of felt like, I don't think so. You could be lying. So I remember one day I was just sitting in the car and I was just thinking about it. And I'm like, something just doesn't feel right. And I just felt like this burning sensation in my stomach. It's just like when I would get back involved with this person, like my face would break out. Like the energy would just be so off. I'm like, this is not me. It's not mine. Like, you need to get strong enough and you just need to stop and just focus on healing yourself, because it's not going to get good. Like, each time, like, it'll become more of a problem.
Yeah, you're right. Like, it's crazy because I think women's intuition is like on an all-time
point.
And so I think that's another thing we feel. I think sometimes we're not feeling just his stuff, but if he's engaging with other people at the same time that he's engaging with you
feel it all.
So you feeling his stuff and multiple probably people's stuff and his stuff and your stuff. Like, that's a lot.
Yeah, it is. And it's crazy. Like, I never thought about it like that before until I experienced it and I was going through it. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is really real. So you really have to,
protect
just pay attention and just protect yourself. And
your body tells you. I think we don't listen to our bodies enough either. Like, I'm sure, like you said, you felt it in your stomach. Like, your body was trying to tell you something, and you just needed to pay attention and to listen to it. If it doesn't feel right, it's probably not right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, like men are known for like leaving the door ajar in relationships. What do you think about that? Like, is that a real thing? Like, do you think that, like this whole, it's either one or the other? So I've spoken to women who say, oh no, because guys just ghost me. Like, they just disappear out of nowhere. And then I hear like these girls like, oh, like I break up with them and they just never leave. Like, they kind of just linger.
Yeah.
So it's one or the other, right? Like, what do you think about this ideology? And is that something that women do too? Like, maybe I'm not self-aware enough to understand if women are doing that too. I just figured, we're dealing with men, so that's what I pay attention to. But maybe women are doing that too.
I'm not really sure about the women doing that. But I know for sure guys do it. And I don't agree with it. I don't agree with half of the things that, men do. I just don't. But
where does it come from? Where do you think it comes from? Like, why do they, what do you think is the source of like either leaving the door slightly open or just disappearing and not saying anything? Because I think they disappear and not say anything so that they can come back whenever they want to.
I've never had that experience with them, disappearing and.
Maybe I've heard that a lot. I've heard women say like, yeah, I was talking to a guy, everything was good, and then he just stopped talking to me.
I'm usually the one who just stopped talking. So I've had to deal with that. But, they do linger, and, I don't never really have I guess it really depends on how you feel about that person. I don't really have the door open. Like, I might have the door slightly open for friendships, but then when I see that they can't accept it as a friendship, then I just close it completely.
Yeah, I get that. I say I'm a master friend zoner.
Yeah.
I just become a master at it because I'm just like, I guess I also have the understanding that women take lead when it comes to stuff like this. And so it's like, really what I don't want to happen is not going to happen. And
right.
And if something does happen, that's because I allowed it.
Right.
So because I know that, I'm like, oh yeah, if I'm ready to put you in the friend zone, you're just going to be in the friend zone or not be here at all. Up to you.
Exactly. And I don't think, they respect that. Some will, but some won't. Majority of, with my experience, majority of them did not respect it. So it just goes back to me just not speaking to them at all.
Actually, right before this episode, I recorded another episode with two guys, and they were saying that men are like trained to just shoot their shot. Like they're just gonna shoot their shot no matter what. Like, what do you think about
that? Sometimes I think men will try to shoot multiple shots.
Right.
And it's just like, if you see that I'm not giving in, and I would try to turn you down in a kind way, but a lot of times you have to end up being aggressive with it or just being mean. And it's just like, even if you're mean, they still don't understand. So I just keep my distance and just say to myself, because, I'm not comfortable with feeling things that makes me uncomfortable.
Right. So you have to basically set your boundaries. So how do you go about setting boundaries? Is it something you do? Is it something you say?
I'm very vocal about it. And, I would just let you know, like, I want to be your friend. You should just accept me as being your friend. But they still always try to cross those boundaries. Nobody ever agrees with it. So it always just results to us not speaking at all, because they don't respect my boundaries and they don't expect me to feel that type of way. It's like, if I'm not feeling the way that they want me to feel, then it kind of becomes an issue.
Yeah.
So,
or I have to convince you, right? Like, I have to convince you to feel what I feel. I have to.
Or I figure you will change your mind. And it's like, no, I'm not changing my mind, because I said what I said. And this is how I feel. And I would like for you to respect it. And if you can't respect it, then we can no longer be friends or have open communication.
Right. Yeah. That's good for you for saying that and for being direct. But does it work? How often does that work?
It doesn't work. And that's why, there end up, it's just no communication, like no contact. Yeah. Because they don't respect it. Like, it's like they listen, but they don't actually hear you. Like, they don't understand. They're not grasping the concept of what you're saying. It's just like, okay, I hear you talking, so I'm going to say okay, but I'm not really listening or respecting what you're saying.
Because they're still going to feel like they want to go around it. Like, I'm going to still try to try regardless. So I'll come back to you in a couple months once you calm down. And then I'm going to shoot my shot again.
Yeah, like maybe you'll change your mind. It's like, no, I'm not changing my mind. And then when you keep on pushing, and I already asked you, to respect my boundaries, and you don't do it, like, it just turns me off even more. It makes me not even want to be your friend, and just be like, see, this is why I don't communicate with people in the first place. This is why I don't be kind to people in the first place, because they constantly cross their boundaries.
Yeah, it's hard. Boundaries is something that I've had a hard time with men and women for a long time, because I just feel like there's certain things that should just, like, I shouldn't have to, like, speak it. Like, energy should be able to tell you. Like, I think you could speak energetically, and you'll know when somebody is not happy with something. I mean, at least my energy is very stern. People still try to push you. And it's like, oh gosh, so now I have to sit here and outline this for you and then have to remind you every single time. Like, that's exhausting.
It is.
It's like draining, and it's like energetically draining to put the boundaries up and then keep reinforcing the boundaries, maintaining the boundaries, reminding you about that. It's like, okay, is this war?
Like, how many times do I have to do this? Like, what are you not understanding? And I always just say, some things are common sense. To me, it's common sense. But then, my mother, she will remind me, like, Brittany, common sense is really not that common. And I just be shocked, like, well, what the hell?
That's true.
Like, why are they getting it? Like, is everybody zombies? Like, do you not see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, there's a lot of human zombies out here. And it's not, sadly, common sense is not common. Your mom is very right. So do you, just to switch gears, have you ever felt that you were entitled to have access to someone because you had shared an experience with them?
I feel like you're genius for this question. Because I've never thought about that until I read the question. And it's just like, it kind of made me check myself. And I would feel like I was lying if I said no, so I have to be authentic in my truth because I do. Or I have felt like that about one individual.
There's always that one, girl. Always.
Yeah. And it's just that one. Like, no matter what, I feel like I should always have access to his energy.
What do you think that comes from? That was it because of the intensity of what you guys shared, or was it like the love that you still have? Like, what is it, that thing that makes you feel like, no, like you're mine?
Well, if I tell you that, then I'll have to tell you the person, but all is well. It's my son's father. Like, I always feel like I should have access to his energy because we share a child together.
And that goes back to my question that I was saying, that people that had, especially when you procreate with somebody and you literally like, and people take this having children thing very lightly. Like, I see it very godly. Like, you are literally given the gift, because it's a gift, because not everybody could do it, a gift to create another human just like you.
Yeah.
With another person.
Right.
How could that not bond you for life? Like, I just don't.
Right.
You have you've created something that's existing in both of your likings. Why would it, like that? That seems 100% logical to me.
Yeah. And I feel like, my son was made out of love, and he wasn't made out of anything else but love. So, and I feel like he was my best friend as well. Like, even when we're at odds, like, I feel like that's somebody who's always going to have my back and I'm always going to have his back regardless. So, that's the first person that I'm going to call, if I need somebody to protect me. So regardless to who he's in a relationship with, I don't care. I think I'm supposed to have more boundaries when it comes to it, but I don't.
Does he give you boundaries, or is he like cool with you feeling that?
He never gives me boundaries. He never say, Brittany, don't do this. Don't say this to this person. This is my girlfriend, respect her. He never does that because, I feel like, he crosses boundaries as well. So it's
great.
Yeah. So it's not just a one-way street.
Because you've already created something on this earth together. There's no disconnecting from that. And actually, you've helped me out. Thank you for sharing that, for being vulnerable enough to say that, because you also helped me out, because I've always felt that way. Although I don't have children, I have never had that type of connection with somebody, but I've always valued it. And I always thought, like, gosh, do I even want to deal with a man who has a kid? Because I feel like if he has a kid with somebody, like that person, I'm not gonna be able to compete with that connection that they have. Like, there's just
it really depends though, because he had a child before we had one. He has a daughter as well as my son. So I guess it just depends on, how they feel about each other and their relationship and their bond.
So his bond with his other's child's mother is not the same?
No, like, he could care less. But when it comes to me, it's always a major issue. So, because he makes a major issue about things, I have the tendency to do it as well. And it's just always been like that. Now I feel like we're more copacetic, I guess, but usually it's always the same.
Yeah. It is. I mean, I understand it. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's if you create something such as a human on this earth, I would expect that type of connection. And if you didn't have that type of connection, I would be like, what was the point? Right. Like, what was the point if you're not going to be, connected in that way? So how are you breaking the cycles and healing your lineage when it comes to open access? Like, what is it that you are doing to heal this trait in our society?
I'm just more so focused on healing myself because I feel like if I heal myself, then everything around me, will change. Like I'll heal my family, my mother, my son, and I feel like everything will align. So that's a big thing of mine. I just self-care and I focus on what I need to heal and I question myself. And I try to keep genuine, authentic people around me, that'll be honest with me and will be my reflection, to pinpoint things and just assist me because, we're all one. And that's just what I do. Just focus on just healing myself. And I feel like everything else will just fall into place.
Amen. I agree. Well, thank you so much for having this conversation with me. I think this was very helpful. Thank you for trusting me.
Thank you for having me.
And so thank you everyone for listening, for tuning in, for watching. I really appreciate it. Stay tuned for the after credits. Remember, that's the best part. And see you guys later.
All right.
Thank you so much for listening. Remember to subscribe and follow on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, and YouTube at Relayshons Podcast via Thediaryofmr. M as in Melissa, R as in Rosario. And now, the best part, here are the after credits, a message from my co-host.
I just wanted to tell everyone to put yourself first. Share your truth, tap in with spirit, share love, be kind. If you fall, get back up and be unbreakable.